In August of 2023, deep within Sequoia National Park's towering redwood cathedrals, a family of 4 set out on an afternoon hike toward Tokopah Falls. What began as a peaceful trek ended in a moment none of them would ever forget. They encountered a creature that redefined everything they thought they knew about black bears in California. At first, they saw movement at the edge of the trail, a flash of dark fur among the trees. At that moment, they thought it was just a large black bear, perhaps one of the park's occasional visitors. But as it stepped forward into the open, blocking the narrow forest path, they realized this was no ordinary bear. The animal's silhouette was massive, shoulders hunched in a way that dwarfed its surroundings. It didn't run or roar, it simply stood there, unmoving, watching them. One of the children gasped, "It's as big as a truck!" Their father managed to whisper, "Get back slowly." Heed that warning, they did. They began to back up, hands raised to show they meant no threat, but the bear did something that no one had expected. It rose onto its hind legs. Their hearts pounded as they stared up at an impossibility. A black bear towering nearly 9 feet tall. On all fours, it already seemed colossal, 5 feet tall at the shoulder but fully upright. Its head brushed the lower branches of the redwoods. The sheer size of the broad chest and massive skull was breathtaking. Its paws, each as large as a dinner, plate rested on the ground like ancient boulders. When they reported the incident, park rangers responded with measured urgency. They dispatched a team to survey the area and examine evidence. They combed the trail for larger-than-normal footprints and took careful measurements of the imprints. Each paw spread out to nearly 14 inches long and 8 inches wide. The bear's trail led them into more remote parts of the park, and campers there later confirmed similar sightings. The park biologist assigned to the case was no stranger to big bears. But nothing like this. He photographed plaster casts of the tracks, measured the length of stride, and reviewed earlier trail cam footage. Piecing it all together, they confirmed that this was Bear 64, an individual already on the park's radar, only rarely captured in images. Bear 64 was well known for his evasiveness, always avoiding cameras and staying far away from human traffic. But never before had he manifested himself so fully, so monstrously, in front of witnesses. By autumn, California's Department of Fish and Wildlife took charge. A formal investigation ensued. Geneticists analyzed hair samples and scat gathered from nearby streams. One theory common among skeptics went as far as suggesting undocumented grizzly black bear hybridization might explain the size. That notion was quickly debunked. Genetic testing confirmed there was no grizzly blood. Bear 64 was pure Ursus americanus, albeit one whose genetic lineage produced an animal of breathtaking scale. Some families just carry the gene jackpot. Rangers eventually located Bear 64's den site not too far from the Tokopah Trail, a secluded chamber beneath a fallen redwood root mass. A specialized team entered after the bear's natural death in early 2024, likely from age-related causes. They performed a full necropsy test in which the animal's body was measured and examined in detail. At that point, Bear 64 had achieved legendary status. Across Sequoia and beyond, biologists had never recorded a black bear of that mass and proportions. Weighed in at a staggering 775 pounds and standing 4 feet 11 inches at the shoulder, when on all fours, Bear 64 defied all expectations. His skull was broad and massive, measuring well outside typical black bear variation. His paws, those dinner plate-sized appendages, were thickly muscled and heavily clawed. All of it pointed to one conclusion. This was a bear that had matured into the very limits of what an American black bear could be. And he had done so without a drop of grizzly blood, to credit a biological marvel and singular phenomenon. But why did this bear grow so large? Investigators pieced the story together from biology, habitat conditions, and opportunity. Sequoia's granite valleys, mixed woods, and abundant huckleberries had created an environment of plenty. The bear's known range overlapped with prime conditions for extreme growth. Adventure, rich terrain, ample forage, and isolation from human pressure. Bear 64 had few predators and minimal competition. He was solitary and smart, qualities that contributed almost as much to survival as genetics. Over time, a bear that large became a forest apex by default. Park educators later unveiled an exhibit titled Bear of Legends at the Visitor Center near Tokopah Falls, with photos of footprints, trail cam stills, and local eyewitness accounts. The exhibit highlighted the importance of coexistence. The bear had encountered humans. They didn't approach. The family had stayed calm, backed away, and nobody was hurt. Leave no footprint. Remember the wildlife, you are the visitor in this home, they emphasized. Bear 64 had shown what wild meant. For many, though, the bear became a legend. Social media posts ballooned, geotagged, "Meet the Giant of the Valley," with hashtags like Bear64 and Sequoia Giant. The park commander chuckled. He's the only bear who needed his own press release. Field biologists debated the bear's potential age of 16, maybe 20, by what they found at necropsy. Black bears in the wild seldom exceed 20 years. But survival in Sequoia's rich ecosystem had likely extended his lifespan. In humans, such a creature would be called a phenom, a once-in-a-generation prodigy. In bears, the term still applies. Bear 64 carried the secrets of extraordinary physiological growth within a species known for modest size variation. Now, following his passing, he resides in park records and legend, his massive paws forever immortalized in plaster casts in the Sequoia Visitor Center. The exhibit includes a quote, "He was a gentle giant. We gave him distance, and he gave us wonder." So many questions remain. How many more giants might be quietly roaming remote canyons? Could his genetic luck be used for conservation? Will Bear 64 inspire more careful land management to encourage natural bear populations? Whatever the next chapter, Bear 64 remains an icon of wild possibility, proof that nature still holds mysteries beyond our tall trees and broad trails. In the summer of 2023, a family learned that even among giants, humans are still small. But taking a moment to step back, give way, and watch in awe, that's the part of coexistence that ensures we all survive to tell the tale.